Kim, what is our third main topic today?
This is coming from Bob Nunn. Hi, John and team. Greeting from Mauritius. Hope you are well. I watched your show last night where you mentioned that Kathleen Kennedy could be on her way out, and I agreed with you. However, reports suggest otherwise. According to media outlets, Kathleen has just been given a contract extension until 2024. What do you think of this, and how do you think it will affect the Star Wars universe? Keep up the good work, guys.
All right, thanks for sending that in, Bob. Look, a few years ago, I have no idea where it came from, but this report started going around. Everybody's talking that Bob Iger had convened a secret meeting of the grand cabal of all the senior heads of Disney, trying to come up with a way to fire Kathleen Kennedy. And that was everywhere. That Bob Iger's going to fire Kathleen. And I have no idea where that report came from, but it went all over the place. And then they instantly signed her to an extension, and that clearly wasn't true. And I never bought that. I didn't think she's going to be going anywhere. I have lately begun to feel that she would be, and frankly should be, on her way out. Again, I cannot stress this enough. I think Kathleen Kennedy is a first ballot Hall of Famer producer. If there was a Hall of Fame in Hollywood, then the moment she retires, boom, first day, she's inducted into the Hall of Fame. She has had the most decorated career in the history of Hollywood as far as producer. You look down through her credits list as a producer, it is a who's who of the greatest films of all time, or at least a number of them, a number of the greatest films of all time. Incredible. She has certainly done some very good things at Lucasfilm, but you've heard me go on ad nauseum about the things where I thought she has dropped the ball. And honestly, I think while she is a tremendous producer, I don't think the role of studio executive or president has been the right role for her. So, and then with everything going on with the continued chaos and then the no presentation for Star Wars at Disney Plus, leading me to believe that that place is complete chaos right now. It then came out of nowhere that they have signed Kathleen Kennedy to another 3-year extension. This comes to us from the folks over at, where'd they go? I missed it here. Where'd the thing go? I lost it. I lost the report. Anyway, let's just go over to the site then where they have it here. So there's reports going, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy will be sticking around. This is from Comic Book Resources. Will be sticking around the company for at least another few years. According to journalist Matthew Bologna, who we commented on yesterday, and this is from the same article of Puck, Kennedy reportedly recently re-upped her deal for another 3 years, leaving her in control of the franchise, in control of franchises such as Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Willow until at least 2024. So there you have it. Kathleen Kennedy, despite my guess, she ain't going nowhere. She isn't going nowhere anytime soon. Now, obviously, there have been a bunch of people online who have been asking the question, why? Why? Why did they keep her? Why is she still here? What's going on with this? And I want us to jump into the Campea classroom here for a second. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at why they would keep her. And I think the main thing we've got to look at here, and looking at why keep Kennedy, I think the first thing we're going to look at is this. Let's look at, first of all, why not to keep her. Okay, let's look at that first. Okay, let's talk about for a second, why shouldn't you keep her before we go into the reasons why they would. Okay, so let's look at both sides of this. The first thing I would kind of want to point out about why maybe they shouldn't keep her is complete directorial disarray. When you look at this whole thing, you're talking about the Josh Trank fiasco. Remember the Josh Trank fiasco? That was ridiculous. That was utterly, completely ridiculous about that, about how that all went down. About how they had him on, he was going to be doing it, all this kind of stuff. They announced it. They said it was all good. It was all moving forward, all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, the dude's gone. All of a sudden, he's gone. He's not there anymore. What's going on? Don't know. So there was Josh Trank. Then there was also the Colin Trevorrow. I don't know if I know how to spell Trevorrow's last name right. Colin Trevorrow, the guy who was going to be directing, I believe, I think it was Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. They announced him. Yay, Colin Trevorrow's doing our Star Wars movie. This is great. Yay. Only to find out that, they weren't on the same page. And they unceremoniously got rid of Colin Trevorrow as well. On top of Colin Trevorrow, there was the Lord and Miller situation. Another situation where they brought in these hot young directors, going to do this, who are making a solo movie, and then they start making Solo, and all of a sudden, Kathleen Kennedy's like, that's not the movie I thought you were going to make. To which I reply, well, why didn't you damn well make sure that you and them were on the exact same page? And if they went rogue on you, why didn't you vet that out? Why didn't you sniff that out that they were just going to run and do their own thing? Either way, you're in charge, Kathleen, and that whole fiasco with Solo happened. All of a sudden, they were like 3/4 of the way done shooting the thing, and all of a sudden, they were gone. It wasn't just end with there. Gareth Edwards. I mean, he ended up making a fantastic movie with Rogue One. Rogue One was great. He did a terrific job. But then later came stories that they pulled him they locked him out of the editor's room. They brought in another director to do the polish ups and finish up the film. And again, more drama, complete directorial disarray. But it didn't end with Gareth Edwards.
Goodness gracious.
Now we're talking about Patty Jenkins? No, Patty should change her name
Patty.
to Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins.
I just want to let you know where the Marty was.
Patty Jenkins. Woohoo! We're going to do Rogue Squadron. Look at her on the runway with the big live action X-Wing and blah, blah, blah. Now they pulled it from the production schedule.
That's so messy.
And the reports are coming out. They can't agree on a story. There are creative differences yet again. But wait, there's more. It doesn't just end with Patty Jenkins either. Lest we forget, did we all forget about the Game of Thrones guys? Remember? Benioff and Weiss?
Oh, yeah.
They were like, they were going to do, and it came out, they were going to do Old Republic. The showrunners of the most popular and the most awards decorated show in history, even its last season, which a lot of people didn't like the last season. I personally thought the last season was a masterpiece, and it set the record for winning the most Emmys at the final season, the one people disliked the most. It set the record for most Emmys, but whatever it is, it was the most talked about pop culturally relevant show in history. Everybody was talking about Game of Thrones. And they lined them up and they were going to do Old Republic. The guys were going to set up the Old Republic, something fast. So they announced it, big fanfare. Benioff and Weiss, ladies and gentlemen. Benioff and Weiss, big fanfare. All of a sudden, they took another deal. And went over to, I believe, a Netflix development deal. I think that's what it was for. But wait, it doesn't end there. There was also Obi-Wan. Lest we forget, Obi-Wan, everybody's excited right now because Obi-Wan is coming. We just got our first sizzle for it and all that kind of stuff. But we forget over a year ago, they were getting ready to start production. Kathleen Kennedy's on stage with Ewan McGregor at D23 going, we're doing Obi-Wan. And then we found out 6 months later, now they have creative differences with the screenwriter. Now the script that they had okayed, now we're scrapping it now. And they had to go back and it was delayed and they had to go back and redo the scripts and all that kind of stuff because once again, Kathleen Kennedy couldn't figure out if she was creatively on the same page with her creators. Again, and you look at this list from Josh Trank, Colin Trevorrow, and all of them had their own.
That's a lot of talent on that list, not coming into fruition of what they're supposed to be doing.
And every single one of them.
That's a lot of waste.
Every single one of them was a situation where they had met and agreed, yes, we're making this picture together and this is what we're doing.
That's not cool.
Every single one of these represents a breakdown and a failure on Kathleen Kennedy's parts. Now, every single one of these names, Trank, Trevorrow, Lord and Miller, Edwards, Jenkins, Benioff and Weiss, and the Obi-Wan situation, all of these are very unique situations. They all have very specific things to go to them. But at their core, is the same song. Kathleen Kennedy and them decided we're going to make this thing together and we're on the same page. And then later find out they're not on the same page. And that list, I mean, I can only really think of one with Kevin Feige. I can only think of really one. Now, there were some directors that came in and out, but without fanfare, without big announcements that this person's doing a director. That happens. But the only time I think it ever happened with Marvel and Kevin Feige was Edgar Wright with Ant-Man. That's one out of 10 plus years. And that's just because the MCU had gone in a totally different direction than what Ant-Man was going to be under Edgar Wright. And so they just decided we can't do the movie Edgar Wright wanted to make, and Edgar Wright only wanted to make the movie he came out with. And so nobody was wrong. They just went their separate ways. Fine. This is a lot of stuff, but it's not just the complete directorial disarray about why you might want to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. There's also this Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
I love Jedi and Rise. They're so great.
Did I say Jedi?
They're amazing.
Last
Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Last Jedi.
We're going to be screening Last Jedi and Royce.
Royce and the Royce of Skywalker. That's what happens when you're not looking at your keyboard. And Rise of Skywalker were insanely divisive. Insanely divisive. I mean, I think I'm putting it mildly, saying that The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker were divisive. Now, I say that as somebody who I liked The Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, take that back. I'm somebody who liked the Last Jedi. I had my problems with it, for sure. But overall, I walked out and was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't like it nearly as much as I liked the Force Awakens. But I liked the Last Jedi. And then I saw The Rise of Skywalker. And I remember I came out of the premiere. I don't know if you saw this. I was at the premiere for Rise of Skywalker. I was at the world premiere, and I came out and I was heading to go into the after party. And I literally walked out of the after party like a few steps behind Frank Oz and whatever. So I step out of the theater. We go out on the street getting ready to go into this huge after party tent. And I stopped, pulled my phone out. I was like, I got to do my quick reaction. I'm like, this ain't it, guys. Like, I remember going, I did not like, oh my God, I hate The Rise of Skywalker. I hate that. But whether you like it or dislike it, there's just no getting around it. They're insanely divisive. It created a division. Now, granted, part of this is the toxic sides of the fandom's fault and not Kathleen Kennedy's, but still.
I was going to say, how much responsibility is falling on her? Like, not just where does the buck stop, but there's an ingredient when you're working creatively. Good Lord, creatively. Holy crap. My mouth is doing what your hands were doing on your keyboard. Holy crap today. Creatively and business. What's happening in the mix in terms of the actual team? Because it sounds like, do I mean to play devil's advocate? I guess I'm wondering how much of it is just her and who else is on the team? Is there someone else in the mix that's like, okay, she's great without this person in her ear. She's great without this person meddling. How much of it is boiling down to her?
The thing is this, when you're the one in charge, the buck stops with you. It stops with you. For all the good and all the bad that comes along with that, when you're the one in charge, it comes down to you. When I was running AMC and I was running Collider, when things went wrong, yeah, it may have been because this stupid staff member did this or this did that. But at the end of the day, it's on me. It's on me. When a show didn't work that we did, and a show was lacking in numbers and couldn't get an audience, that wasn't my showrunner's fault. That wasn't the staff I put on that show's fault. That's on me. And when we have successes, I got a lot of the credit. But it goes both ways. Like when you're in charge, when you're Kathleen Kennedy and you are the president of Lucasfilm, yes, I'm sure there's a lot of contributing factors that go into it. Absolutely. But you are the buck stops here person. Mm. And so you gotta take that responsibility. So there's that. So you had all this directorial upheaval and disarray. You had with all that stuff. Then you had the last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker were incredibly divisive. Also, I want to say this. I think we can call it now. High Republic is a bust. I remember they put a lot of energy. It seemed like they were putting a lot of their eggs into this High Republic basket. And High Republic stuff doesn't suck. I read the first book. It's all right. It was not bad. But when's the last, let me ask you guys, you two, when's the last time you were online or talking to somebody, you heard somebody bring up the High Republic stuff of Star Wars?
Never, not ever.
What's that?
See, exactly, right? Never, not
ever.
ever. What is that? It came and went like a fart in the wind. It was there. It made a bit of a stink and then it was gone. And
But John,
yes.
Can you just put out that graphic I made real quick? I don't think you noticed it.
Oh, Lord.
I haven't got around to it yet. Okay, yeah. Let me bring up this
See,
graphic.
this is all she's saying to you right now.
This is
All she's saying to you. Just put it up.
but this graphic here.
No, the other one.
What other graphic?
The other one. The side 3.
She's saying,
I
"Get me
see.
my
Let me bring it up.
Oh,
You
look
mad,
at
bro? Did you make that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
It was supposed to be for you.
Oh, thank
you're gonna
you
have a
so
problem.
much.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
I got to speak for Kathleen Kennedy.
You got to be her
Someone's got to
voice.
take her side.
Someone's got to be her voice in here.
You mad, bro?
Yeah. So I mean,
What are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do?
They already made their decision, so
So I mean, that kind of came and went. So that was a bit of a bust. And so yeah, that's why I think if you're a fan who thinks Kathleen Kennedy needs to go, you got a lot to back that up. You've got a lot of info there to back that up. Now, so the question becomes, why they keep her?
dollar signs.
Dollar
That has to be the
bill.
dollar signs,
Dollar
right?
bill,
What?
y'all.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Because let's look at this. Okay. Force Awakens. The movie made over $2 billion at the box office. $2 billion at the box office. And Endgame is not the number one box office domestically in the United States of all time. Star Wars The Force Awakens is.
Wow.
Worldwide, Endgame made more. Domestically, here at home, Star Wars The Force Awakens is the number one box office movie of all time. Also, Last Jedi made $1 billion. Rise of Skywalker made $1 billion. Rogue One made $1 billion. The only one that didn't was Solo, which is a movie they never should have made in the first place.
No.
But you look at those 5 films, 4 out of those 5 films made over $1 billion. One of them made $2 billion and is the number one domestic box office film of all time. Now, whenever these facts come up, there are inevitably people who go, well, any movie you make that's called Star Wars will make $1 billion. Oh, really? There's a movie called Batman versus Superman that would beg to differ. Because I'll tell you what, you could make, if you were charged with making a Batman versus Superman movie, Batman versus Superman,
Oh, shit. Here we go.
you could sit down with a piece of paper, draw a butt, just a big butt with a big old crack down the middle, then go take a nap for 6 months, and then release it in theaters, opening title screen, Batman versus Superman, and then 2 hours of just a picture of a butt for 2 hours. That movie should still make $1 billion. But it didn't. It didn't. So don't tell me that just because a name is on it, it's going to make $1 billion. Because Batman versus Superman should have made 2. It should have made $2 billion without much difficulty. The 2 greatest superheroes of all time. How does that movie not make $1 billion? That's not to say that Batman versus Superman was a failure. I really like Batman versus Superman. But I'm just saying is this fake bullshit, false spin narrative that's like, well, any movie called Star Wars is going to make $1 billion. No, that's not actually how reality works. The fact of the matter is, if you're a Disney exec or you're a Disney shareholder and you look at what has Kathleen Kennedy delivered unto us, she delivered 4 out of 5 films making over $1 billion and one being the highest domestic box office film of all time. That's what she delivered. No, again, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm just saying.
Well, the numbers don't lie. I mean,
Yeah. I'm just saying if you're asking the question, why did they keep her? You got to look at that. Also, let's not forget, Mando seasons 1 and 2. Now, again, whenever Mandalorian comes up, the Kathleen Kennedy haters, and I'm very critical of Kathleen Kennedy, you obviously have heard me, but whenever Mandalorian comes up, the Kathleen Kennedy haters want to go, well, that wasn't her. That's John Favreau and Dave Filoni. No, it's not. Kathleen Kennedy, like any other project a studio is going to greenlight, she had a stack of hundreds of pitches for Star Wars programming. And she saw Favreau's and recognized this is the one. That's her job, to recognize out of all the pitches that come across her desk, which one should re-greenlight. That's her job. And she recognized John Favreau's project, saying this has potential. And then as John Favreau tells the story, not only did she see the potential in that pitch, she then went, you know what would be great here, John Favreau? You know what would be great? I want to team you up with one of our guys named Dave Filoni. Oh, sorry. Siri thinks I'm talking to her.
She's like, give Kathleen Kennedy a break.
She goes, I want to match you up with one of our guys, Dave Filoni. I think he would work really well with you on this. I think he'd be a really good asset to you on this. And John Favreau tells a story about how Kathleen Kennedy is the one who matched him up with Dave Filoni, and that she needed somebody to mentor.
That was brilliant.
Which was brilliant.
Yeah.
And she needed somebody to mentor Dave Filoni and how to do live action stuff, because they've got plans for him in the future. And Dave Filoni on the Mandalorian making of special, he's talking about, I don't know anything about making live action stuff. Thank God John Favreau is here to mentor me, right? So that was all Kathleen Kennedy. And then her job becomes support to make sure that her creators have what they need to be a success. And she did that for Favreau and Filoni. So I know nobody wants to give her credit, but the fact of the matter is she made $4 billion films. She brought us Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Also, don't forget that she also brought us, I'm not a big fan of Clone Wars. She brought us another season of Clone Wars that I don't care about, but a lot of Star Wars fans out there like Clone Wars. And she brought them another season of Clone Wars when Clone Wars is done. But here's the biggest thing, I think, why the Disney execs would keep Kathleen Kennedy around for another 3 years. Again, not a move I would have made, but if you're asking why they did it, this is probably why they did it. Under the Bob Chapek regime, Bob Chapek doesn't care about anything creative. He doesn't care about how good the shows are, how bad the movies are. He doesn't care. He doesn't even bother to show up to the premieres of his own movies. I've talked about this before. I've been to a lot of premieres. I've been to a lot of Disney premieres. And every single time, I can't think of one time that Big Papa Iger, that Bob Iger wasn't there personally to show his support for his filmmakers and his creators. I've been to 2 premieres since Bob Chapek has been CEO. He hasn't bothered to show up to either of them. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. All he cares about is this going to follow my banker buddy's plan of what's going to generate revenue. And what is Bob Chapek most concerned with right now? All he cares about is getting subscribers for Disney Plus. And what is Kathleen Kennedy doing right now as far as Disney Plus goes? This is what she's doing. Besides Mandalorian season 1 and 2, Mandalorian season 3 is coming. Book of Boba Fett is coming. Andor is coming. Obi-Wan is coming. The Acolyte is coming. Ahsoka Tano is coming. She's delivering exactly what the Disney execs want her to deliver. That's what she's getting. So listen, if it's me, I'm looking at why you don't keep her. Complete directorial disarray with Josh Trank, Colin Trevorrow, Lord Miller, Gareth Edwards, Patty Jenkins, Benioff and Weiss, the Obi-Wan series, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker being incredibly divisive. The High Republic was a bust. But if you're asking the questions, why did they keep her? Here's how the a Disney executive sits down and looks at it right now. Under Bob Chapek, would look at it and say, man, she's made a lot of billion-dollar films. Mandalorian season 1 and 2 took over the world. They took over the world, those shows. The fans were real happy about Clone Wars. And we're really all about Disney Plus right now. And she's bringing us Mandalorian season 3, Boba Fett, Andor, Obi-Wan, Acolyte, Ahsoka, and more. Do I think she should have been given an extension? No. Can I understand why Disney gave it to her? Yeah. of course, I understand why they did. I wouldn't have. I don't agree with the decision, but I get why they did, because there's a lot of stuff there. Kim, you see all this, you hear about all this. What do you think about Kathleen Kennedy getting 3 more years?
Part of me feels like, look, I'm not in that chair. I'm not in that chair making the decision. None of us are. However, as the fans, we want results and we want them now, you know, but somebody might be looking at, you know, plans that we haven't seen and saying, you know, I'm not happy with what you did with this, this, and this. Show me, give me a reason. Maybe she had an opportunity to, you know, not plead her case, but say, look, I can turn this around. Let me show you how I can do it. And maybe based on those projections, they're like, okay, we're going to give you another chance. Because look, when you look back at her career, it's not like she's some newcomer that got her hands on these really important IPs and she's just driving it into the ground. She really has done wonderful, wonderful work. But she's at a period in her career. I mean, and look at me, like, who am I to talk? But it seems as though there's a period in her career where there's a lot of struggle. You have a lot of talent on the table and you're not really giving them the proper atmosphere to shine the way they can. You know, I really feel like, please do not mess this up with Patty Jenkins. She will make a wonderful film, but please get back on track. Please don't do what's been done with the other directors. You know, let's move forward. Let's correct the course. And maybe whoever greenlit her for more time sees that she can correct the course. And based on her wonderful career, you know, minus, you know, the stuff recently, they believe in what she can do. So I don't know. There's a reason. There's a reason. And I hope it doesn't just boil down to cha-ching.
I think it does.
We want quality. You know, we want our stories told in a way that will honor the franchise. So we'll see.
All right. Question is for you guys. What do you think about Kathleen Kennedy getting a 3-year extension? I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit surprised. I mean, maybe we shouldn't be totally surprised when we look at the pros and cons list. I guess there's an argument to be made there. But how do you guys feel about it? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.